Resurgence is a custom Zombies map released on July 1st, 2024 for Black Ops 3 and PC. Published at a Steam workshop by user The All Nightfall, who credits a long list of contributors to development help. Resurgence pits the player against hordes of the undead in the isolated, desolate wasteland of Anchorage, Alaska. Oh no, wait, no, wrong image. This is, oh, here we go. This is more accurate. This is way more. Deep within the walls of a massive, dilapidated apartment complex. The very first thing you'll notice upon loading into the map is the darkness. Okay, I mean, it isn't like pitch black dark here, but wandering away from this light source here really emphasizes just how devoid of light Resurgence is. It's something I took notice of immediately on my first playthrough, and it only becomes more prominent the further you stray from spawn. Before you do that though, hypothetically, you'll probably want to grab a gun off the wall. Well, how does this one sound? Well, it sounds fine, but the damage it's atrocious. Let's find something else. Let's give the M14 a try.
Jesus, five for it. Jesus.
Once you've left the comfort of the light, prepare to adjust your eyes because look at this. Complete pitch black darkness. Can you see anything? No, you fucking can't. Navigating the dark, graffiti vandalized hallways of the complex, you have two avenues of approach when venturing further. Well, that's a little misleading. You have one avenue of approach each, depending on which room you spawned into. They both circle around this room of collapsed rubble in the middle and aren't really that far apart, but if you don't look out and spawn into the room of quick revive in it, you're fucked. Let's just assume that's what happened though. Once you're ready to leave the relative safety of spawn, I doubt you'll want to stay in the dark, aforementioned hallways for long. Moving this fallen piece of furniture out of the way allows us to momentarily escape the darkness and potentially acquire new weaponry. Whatever outbreak enveloped this building must have done so during a period of construction, abandonment, or possibly both, evidenced by the presence of floodlights, wooden boards, and debris scattered haphazardly across the complex. This long corridor here houses plenty of windows, or window holes, along its side, but like most of the interior, there's nothing but darkness inhabiting the outside. There isn't any help coming. Nobody's coming to save you. You're fucked. I know I just tried to goad you into buying a mediocre wall weapon, but look at this footage. You're gonna want to cop one of these off the wall, because with how tight and narrow the majority of Resurgence is, you'll want something that can shoot through hordes of freak sacks reliably. Clearing another piece of furniture at the end of this corridor opens up a fire exit of some sort that offers the player two choices: go up or go down. Going up brings you to a room with a massive gaping hole in the floor that drops you back down into the hall. So going down is what you'll have to do. Peering out to the outside from this long section of collapsed roof at the bottom, you'd think this building existed in some kind of pocket dimension completely devoid of any and all life beyond the confines of the structure. That's irrelevant though. Heading down the ramp and up into the exposed gap in this hall here, there's only one path forward, and it's through moving yet another piece of furniture out of the way. Not before nearly dying to a stray zombie though. That's one thing about this map that, while I don't think it's intentional, is definitely unique in its own right. The last zombie of the round, on occasion, will take an extraordinarily long time getting to you. So long in fact that it'll probably lead to you questioning if the map broke like this table. Then, out of nowhere, the last zombie somehow seems to manifest itself directly behind you to slap your stupid ass silly. You can see here that, if not for my patented Kanye zombie skills, I would have died to this lone zombie. Thank God I'm good though. Moving forward past this table, we enter into what's easily the largest and most open part of Resurgence, the theater. Wait a minute, the all nightfall. Are you kidding me? Obviously, there was some homework copying done here, but this actually does work in the context of the map. Some isolated apartment complexes in Alaska, and I am talking really isolated, actually function as small towns due to how harsh and desolate the weather there is. You have grocery stores, sports rooms, and even movie theaters, all within walking distance of your one-room studio apartment. So this is actually incredible attention to detail. Good on you, the All Nightfall. But I am watching you. Editors know I was actually doing some research on what Resurgence, if Resurgence had any kind of real life counterpart in Alaska, and I actually think it could be based on the Buccaneer building in Whittier, Alaska, which is, if you don't know, it's one of the most isolated towns in all of America. They all live in the same building, which is why I use that footage of the people living in it. And it is home to this complex that, when compared to the complex in Resurgence, it bears very striking similarities. This building was built during World War II and over time was kind of passed around various owners and groups before finally just kind of being abandoned, which, looking at how abandoned and dilapidated Resurgence looks, I think there's a very good chance that this is what this map was based on. And it's not Anchorage. It's not Anchorage. I don't even know why I said that in the beginning. I think I was just making shit up because the map doesn't even clarify where in Alaska this takes place in. So I think I was just bullshitting, but I don't want to go fix it because I already edited it. So I'm sorry, but I guess it's time to go. I guess it's time to go back to the video now. Sorry. The theater is set up essentially identical to its Kino counterpart, with Box sitting in the middle of the stage, the double door sitting at the very back, and Power sitting to the side in a locked closet that needs money to unlock. We don't need to do that yet though. Let's just spin the box over and over again. Look at all of these guns. Resurgence probably has the most diverse range of guns I've seen on a map in a long time. Between weird, shitty Swiss bolt-action rifles, MAC-10s, Desert Eagles, and prototype MP40s, this map has a little something for everyone, including wonder weapons. Finally deciding to turn on Power surges electricity through the rotting, collapsing walls of the complex and very marginally makes things brighter. It's better than nothing, I guess. And now with Power activated, the two spawn areas I mentioned beforehand are now connected, which, if you did indeed spawn inside the quick revive room, means Juggernog is now available to purchase. You know what else is? Pack-a-Punch! Well, after spending 3,000 points to clear this piece of sheet metal, that is, now you're really set up. With Power activated, we've essentially completed one loop around the map, opening a route from one spawn to the other, and linking them together directly once we clear yet another piece of furniture. But that's not all that Resurgence has to offer. If you spawn in the Juggernog room, then you actually take a different path to the theater that sees you descend a large wooden staircase into a room of collapsed, flaming rubble. No! I need help! Before briefly exiting the building entirely by entering this cool grassy courtyard area. Unlike the endless grayish void we encountered earlier, here we can see an admittedly rough looking tree line that suggests this place is probably pretty isolated, which spawns the question of why there would even be a zombie outbreak here in the first place, but I don't know. There isn't an answer. Now that I've basically walked you through an average playthrough of Resurgence, I suppose I should start giving my brutally honest thoughts on this relatively unknown map, starting with the positives. The biggest strength of Resurgence, and in my opinion, what primarily sets it apart from most other custom maps, is how present and immersive its atmosphere is. If you watched my video on Cabin, they're fucking everywhere! Like, what are you supposed to fucking do?
You likes a good man-on-man, don't you?
What? First of all, you're goated. Second of all, you probably remember me talking about how Cabin utilized its atmosphere and setting to essentially make the player as uncomfortable and fearful as possible. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that Resurgence has a fearful atmosphere, but it's definitely disconcerting to say the least. The mix of heavy, ceaseless, and enveloping droning combined with the World of War style zombie groans and pure uncomfortable silence brings forth a feeling of isolation and loneliness that, while not completely absent from other maps like Noct, is forged into a key aspect of Resurgence's identity. It's hard to describe if you haven't played the map before, and assuming this is still the case as you're watching this video, I highly suggest playing this map without any additional stimuli and just taking in this map for what it is. It's an experience I don't think I've had with zombies since Jake's house, at the very least. Moving on to the map's actual gameplay, I think Resurgence flows really well for a map of such extensive size. There was certainly a lot of thought and care put into designing the map's almost circular layout, and unlike the vast majority of custom maps, does not waste much space.
What kind of place is this?
Resurgence is covered head to toe in clutter, guns, perks, and windows in a manner that feels very purposeful, almost like a Treyarch map. Walking around the abandoned, dust-choked halls of the complex, I can honestly imagine this building actually existing in real life. That is not something I can say about, say, Cheese Cube. The entire mag. It actually takes an entire mag to kill one zombie on round 12. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's entirely luck-based. It's literally just okay, that's a stupid example, but hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. Lighting is something Resurgence also utilizes excellently. For example, look at how the flames behind this barrier illuminate and shade the hall against suffocating darkness that's attempting to envelop it. While I've already shown you how devoid of light Resurgence can be, you can find small patches of light similar to this one scattered across the complex, offering brief respites from the cold emptiness until you're able to turn on power, which almost erases the darkness entirely. As far as negatives are concerned, I think the weapon balancing, particularly early on, is a little off. Almost all of the wall weapons in the spawn area are complete garbage for no reason. And they honestly don't even get the point of having so many starting guns in the first place when you can get exponentially better guns in like the next room over. Take the Model 1887 for example. This gun is incredibly powerful. Now compare this to the M14.
Jesus!
I'm obviously not saying that the M14 should do shotgun levels of damage, but why would you ever want to use this gun even in the early rounds when it's so completely outclassed by other easily accessible wall weapons? This isn't really that big of a deal though. Aside from this and a few annoying crashes that I couldn't pick up, I honestly don't have much else in the way of complaints. I will say though that after turning on power and getting yourself set up with Pack-a-Punch, there isn't an insane amount else to do. There's no main Easter egg quest or anything like that. But for a map like this, that's fine. Resurgence as a map seemed to leave no mark whatsoever on the Call of Duty custom map community, but I certainly found a lot to enjoy here. If I managed to convince you of this map's quality of this video, then I implore you to give it a try and form your own opinion. Hopefully, you'll be agreeing with me. As far as Resurgence goes, that's about all I have to say. So let's get on with the outro. Hello, Kaiser Nuters. This is off scripted. This is non-scripted, so I'm sorry if I'm rambling on a little bit here. I did try a script this outro. It's hard to like script something and like make it sound non-formal, which is why I struggle with outros a lot, and I've kind of decided I'm gonna stop doing them that way, but that's irrelevant. Basically, this section here is dedicated to an update that I am giving. It's not what I would call a good update. Well, it's not terrible. I mean, I guess there are positive elements to it, I suppose, but it is not great. It came out of nowhere. Basically, I do try and keep a layer of like personal separation between like, you know, me, like the character that I put on in my videos and like, you know, who I actually like am, because there's no real reason for me to like go into any personal details about, you know, what's going on in my life and stuff. I don't really like make videos about that, but in this case it's fairly important. I am relocating my setup and my living space into an apartment, which I live in a house right now, so I'm transitioning into an apartment. I will be living on my own for the first time, which is, I guess, is kind of why I'm referring to it as having positive elements, because I think that will be a good experience. You know, it's an experience that I feel like everybody should have. Not everybody can because of the like economy and shit, you know, but it is an experience that we should all have, hopefully eventually. But yeah, this came out of nowhere. This is not something that I was prepared for, and this is why you're seeing this video so late. I was intending to release this in late March. I mean, I didn't get the news in late March. It was early April, so that I can't really use that as like a major excuse. I was kind of stalling, but when I got the news, again, I'm not going to go into super like personal detail about it, but it did come out of nowhere. It, you know, understandably took my focus away from editing this video. It just threw me for a loop. You know, I work and shit too, so like I needed to try and like understand, try and see if I'd have to leave my job or relocate jobs, or, you know, just, yeah, it wasn't a super fun time in the immediate aftermath of that, but things are becoming more stable now. It seems that it won't be as drastic or insane as I first imagined this was going to be, so that's good. But living in an apartment does mean that I won't be able to have those like crash out moments. Not that those are like intended, I guess. They're kind of byproducts of like how I am. But I will need to change the way that I make videos, I guess. I mean, I don't think it'll be a super hard adaptation to make, but yeah, that's really what I wanted to say. I mean, I also want to thank you for watching the entire video. If you did stay for that, I want to thank you a lot for that. I have this idea that like some videos I make are supposed to not have a lot, like there's supposed to be videos I make for fun, so I don't put an insane amount of editing into it. Like I try and like when I'm starting the project, I think I'm gonna like not put a lot of work into it, and then over time I end up putting a lot of work into it, which is exactly what happened here, and it happens a lot when I make videos. But regardless, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe you can enjoy the map. I did leave it in the description, like I said, so if you like what you saw, then I would implore you to give it a try. But again, thank you for watching. This isn't going to be an insane, like I was going to say this was going to like delay the production of my videos, but my upload schedule is so inconsistent that you won't even notice, which is it doesn't really reflect that well on my part, but it is what it is. That's really all I have to say. Thank you for watching. If you are new to the channel and this is your first video, I would highly suggest you check out the backlog of videos I have so far, and it really does mean the world to me that you made it to the end. So yeah, thank you for staying through this rambling outro. If you didn't, I wouldn't blame you, because it's just, yeah, but that's all. Damn, I stretched this out to 20 minutes. That's crazy. Thank you. Bye. Subscribe. Oh, hey, you're finally awake. That video was long, wasn't it? put you right to sleep. I would have been offended, but it looked like you needed the rest anyway. Well, luckily for you, there's a lot more where that came from. If you're interested in more content just like this video, I kept this little nice surprise just for you. It's a new video. Or, it's old, but it's new for you. And if you're interested in seeing more content just like this, please head over to my profile page and smash that Kaiser Nut button. As always, thank you for making it this far, Kaiser Nutters. Now then, get back to sleep. I command you to. My fucking God, how is this so hard to say, man? How the flames behind the barrier illuminate and shade the hall from the dark. How the flames behind the barrier illuminate and shade the hall from the darkness that surrounds it. How the flames behind the barrier illuminate and shade the hall from the darkness. How the flames behind the barrier illuminate and shade the hall from the why can't